Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 4 of Know the Game here on Sideline Sports, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. I'm Connor, joined once again, as always, with the co-host Gavin,
What's up, everybody?
and this is episode number 4 today. As Gavin gets up, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. As always, there's always a lot of stuff to talk about in sports. We're going to be talking about the Bucks winning game number 3 against the Suns, making the series 2-1. We're also talking about Team USA, the basketball team with all the stars in the world, losing their first 2 exhibition games. We'll also talk about some NBA trade rumors. As you know, off season's coming up, so it's heating up all the rumors. Is this guy getting traded? Is this guy getting traded? We'll talk about that. Also, the home run derby was last night. We'll talk about some very surprising things that happened, and also the 2-time back-to-back champion. We'll also go over the top 10 MLB draft picks, as well as Rob Manfred, the commissioner, talking about some rule changes coming next season. We'll give our top 5 most surprising players in the MLB. And then for some football stuff, the Rams released new throwback uniforms for the season. The Washington football team is coming closer, I guess, to a new name for the 2022 season. And then we will end it off with our top 10 tight ends, top 10 defensive ends, and then a quick UFC 264 recap. So, with everything we're going to be talking about today out of the way, let's get straight into this. So, number 4.
So, just the other day, on Sunday, the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Phoenix Suns 120 to 100. And, guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo scoring 40 points for the Bucks, and like he did in Game 2. So, I'm pretty sure he's like the first player ever or whatever to score like back-to-back 40-point and 10-rebound game. So that right there is showing everybody like Giannis is basically the only player on the Bucks that he really wants it. He really wants it. Um, yeah. So the Giannis is pretty much going crazy.
Giannis is playing like an MVP. He's playing like Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's had like 40, like you said, 40 points in back-to-back games and has scored over 30 points in every game this series. So there's not much to say about him. But in this game, I'm really liking what the others, I guess you would say, of the Bucks did. Middleton with a nice 18. Drew Holiday with a big bounce back game, put up 21 points. Brooke Lopez with 11. Bobby Portis with 11. All the other guys that we were talking about last episode who were not showing up in the first 2 games came back home, game 3, and balled out.
Yeah, it feels like these all the playoffs for the Bucks. They haven't been doing pretty good. Like, the first 2 games, I'd say, and then once they get home, they're like, you know what, man, we're gonna show the fans how we actually play. We're gonna show up right here, and we're gonna dominate. Really.
Yeah, uh, one guy who talks about basketball that I'm a fan of, he was saying that he feels like role players really show up at home. If you're a role player, it's really hard to go on the road and have a big game, but at home when all the fans are cheering for you, that's really all it takes, and that's exactly what the Bucks did. And the Suns wise, a very disappointing game for them. They had no 20-point scorer on their team. Ayton had 19. Chris Paul had 19. DeAndre Ayton had 18. Chris Paul had 19. But Devin Booker, in 29 minutes, only had 10 points. That's not what you want from your second best player in a championship game.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucks. The Bucks really balled out this game. The Suns had the opportunity to go up 3-0, but they pretty much choked this game. You can't have, like you said, Devin Booker only having 10 points. So, everybody's like, Devin Booker's the next Kobe or whatever. Kobe didn't score 10 points in a finals game. Well, I don't know. It's probably, I don't know. Probably
I
not.
highly doubt it.
Highly doubt it. But, only playing 29 minutes because they took him out of the game late because they were losing. and they put in Kaminsky. You never want to put him in a finals game if you're winning or losing. But moving over, next section, LeBron James. LeBron James wants to end his career as a Laker, which is very surprising for me. I thought he would end his career as a Cav.
Yeah, same.
But LeBron James supposedly wants to end as a Laker after winning a championship in 2020.
Yeah, I saw that he says whether it's 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 years, the next X amount of years of his career, he wants to be a Laker. Obviously, I think the Lakers are gonna be glad to have LeBron, even if like at the end of his career, the last 2 years, he's not LeBron James. It's still the name LeBron, so it's gonna bring in tickets and money and all that. But LeBron staying here as a Lakers fan, that is one of the best things you could ask for. Once LeBron retires and AD is still a Laker, because I think he's a Laker for life at this point, unless the Lakers totally mess up their relationship with him. But after LeBron, it's going to be AD and whoever the new star they bring in is. Um, but yeah, I'm really happy that LeBron wants to stay here. And like you said, I really thought, if anything, he'd end his career in Cleveland, at least for one final season.
Yeah, even if it was like a 1-day contract, I thought he'd end his career as a Cleveland Cavalier, but I guess not. Um, the 76ers have opened up trade talks for, yep, you guessed it, Ben Simmons.
Dude.
I heard this offseason he was actually building a school with bricks. Just kidding. He shoots bricks all the time. He doesn't make anything. He can't. He doesn't develop the outside the paint scoring, which is very much key thing. I mean, the game has developed into a 3-point shooting game. Um, I mean, Ben Simmons is a very great defender and all, but he needs to learn how to score other than dunk, really.
Yeah, if he doesn't learn how to score, he's just going to be one of those guys that, well, first of all, if he doesn't learn how to score, he should not be getting paid max level money just to be a defensive player, because there's guys that play defense around the league like Dorian Finney-Smith and Marcus Smart and guys like that, who Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, those guys get paid like $7 million a season to just play defense. But if I'm Ben Simmons and the one thing a team needs to teach him to do, just have a really good mid-range game. Like that's all you need, because like guys like DeMar DeRozan have a mid-range game. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, those guys that have mid-range games are the best players really in basketball. They have one of the best shots in basketball. You don't need a three-point shot. You don't need to be Steph Curry, but he does need to be able to score the ball, put up like 16, 20 points a game to be worth the money he's being paid.
Yeah, you said DeMar DeRozan. He's like what having a max deal or whatever, or something wants a max deal, and yeah, he's really good at the mid range shot. He can shoot a three here and there. But Ben Simmons really has to develop you know the maybe even a 3-point shot,
That would
and
be a plus.
yeah, that would be a plus plus.
That'd be
I'm
icing
pretty
on the
sure.
cake.
I'm pretty sure he's made like one 3-pointer in his whole entire career. Um, you're really bad at shooting the basketball when everybody's going crazy that you made a 3-point shot.
Yeah. When it comes to like teams he could be traded to, though, um, the Sixers said reports are that they want an all-star caliber player in return. So either a guy with potential to be an all-star, or like a year in year out, this guy might be an all-star. What do you have any teams that you think he could end up on, like any in your head?
Um, I mean, really, I don't really see Ben Simmons the point guard. Really, I could see him as a power forward maybe, or
Hmm.
a small forward. A team that really needs. I mean, they could go to the Nets. Would you probably want to? Because everybody wants to go to the Nets. But I can't really think of any team on top of my head. Maybe the Bucks could be a team. Maybe next year you can go to the Bucks if they don't win here. To make that final push towards the championship. Um, the Lakers. No, I'm just kidding.
That'd be great.
I can't really think of any team on the top of my head really.
Yeah, it's hard with a guy like Ben Simmons because he has so many career accolades already, like a 3-time All-Star, 2-time defensive team, one-time All-NBA,
Rookie of the year.
rookie of the year. But I could see a team like the Knicks. They made the playoffs this past season, and they have tons of cap space and assets. Um, Maybe even the Blazers, like a CJ McCollum deal, or if they get Wild, a Dame Lillard deal. Um, yeah, I don't really know what his value is, and it's going to be interesting to see. I think he's definitely getting traded this offseason. The past 2 or 3 off seasons, there's always been rumors. Who are they going to trade, Simmons or Embiid? But I mean, now that they're shopping him, it's bound to happen. So I'm very interested to see where he goes.
Ben Simmons this offseason, should develop mid range, maybe even a little bit of 3-pointer, and the free throw shot. He
Yeah.
cannot hit free throws to save his life. But next up, the Knicks are like aggressively pushing towards trading for the young guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton replaced Kyrie. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he replaced Kyrie. Colin Sexton has been a really, really good guard for the Cavaliers. I feel like he fits well. I'd say. The Knicks, like you say, maybe even a spot for Ben Simmons. I could see them getting Colin Sexton. They need all the help they can get after making it and losing in the playoffs. If you get guys like Julius Randle playing like he did in the regular season next year, I could see them, pushing towards Colin Sexton this offseason or maybe even before the trade deadline. But yeah, I really do think the Knicks could pull off a trade for Colin Sexton.
I find it interesting, and I guess I can see why like the Knicks or the Cavs, excuse me, are shopping Colin Sexton. Like they don't want to pay him a max extension, which is most likely what he's going to get, max rookie extension. I think next offseason when he's eligible. But I mean, he's been a good player, a good scorer in the NBA. He just hasn't coming out of college. He was supposed to be a good defender. He hasn't developed on defense. But the Knicks, like I said, and like we all, like you said too, they're definitely going to be in on like big time players, whether they're star level players, former stars, or dudes that can become stars like Colin Sexton. Um, and
They got Derek Rose back.
yeah, Derrick Rose, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. The thing about Julius Randle is, if I'm correct, he has a team option on his contract for this summer. So it will be interesting to see if they want to accept that. I imagine they would after the season he had. It'd be a steal of a contract. Um, or maybe they pick it up and then trade him for like a guy who could be possibly even better. But I'm very interested.
Sexton.
Yeah, maybe they do that.
Next thing, we got a very disappointing thing for the USA team again, losing their second exhibition game, making them 0-2. They lost against Australia. They also lost against Nigeria the other day. Everybody's like, oh, the USA team's going to go all the way. They're going to go undefeated. Obviously they're not, because they have the superstars to do it, but I guess they just can't pull it off. I guess the pressure's really getting to them.
Dude, when I saw that first, even though it's an exhibition loss, a loss is, bro. When I saw that first one, Nigeria, or they lost Nigeria, I was like, hold up, we just lost to Nigeria? Are you kidding me? Kevin Durant, Dame Lillard, Bradley Beal lost to Nigeria. Precious Achua's team. Like, dude, no disrespect to any of the Nigerian guys, but I mean, I can't name one dude from that country that plays in the NBA. But team Precious Achua, I can't name another guy. But losing your first 2 exhibition games, it shows a lot about the team. They have some of the best players in the world, in the league, in America, and obviously they have not learned to play together. Some of the guys on the team have like KD and Draymond and stuff like that. But many of these guys have never played games together professionally, so it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to fitting with each other, and if they're going to start putting effort in on defense as well.
The Australian team had guys like Joe Ingles and like Matisse Thybulle, um,
Patty Mills.
Patty Mills. Kevin Durant has got blocked by Matisse Thybulle and Precious Achiuwa. So that's pretty sad. He's like what 7 feet tall, 6'11" feet tall.
Yeah.
I mean it's pretty much a disappointment having guys like Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, KD, and losing the first 2 games of the exhibition games to Nigeria and Australia. Hopefully they can because I'm pretty sure these games don't really count, right?
No,
Or
they're
no?
just like exhibitions.
Yeah. Hopefully when it does count, they do win because I'd like to see them all win. But
Dude, you know what's
it's
crazy about this? So there's still 3 players on the USA team, uh, Booker, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton, that are playing obviously in the finals right now. I heard that if the finals goes to Game 7, the the night after or the night of that game, they have to fly to Tokyo, literally the night after they win or lose the finals, because the Olympics starts like a day or two after Game 7. So obviously, I'm pretty sure these players don't want those 3 guys don't want the finals to go to 7 games, because they're gonna have to go from finals to Olympics with like no rest. And like, dude, that's just crazy, bro.
because like let's say the Suns win, the Devin Booker's not even have time to celebrate with his teammates, celebrate with his family.
The
He's gonna go
parade, bro.
the
Like,
parade. He's gonna go straight to Tokyo.
that's crazy.
That is
Crazy.
that is that's probably dumb.
Yeah, I mean that's part of like what happens when COVID, pushes everything back. But dude, crazy stuff.
So we're gonna move on to the MLB section of this podcast.
Yes, sir.
Um, the home run derby was yesterday. Pretty disappointing for Connor, but Pete Alonso won this home run derby, making him back-to-back champ. He was crushing the balls. Pretty sure his longest one was 514 feet. Um, Connor and I's predictions were both wrong. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Well, Connor and I's predictions were both wrong. Um, well, 2 of mine are right, and 3 of Connor's were wrong. Uh, Connor and I predicted Shohei to win it, and Matt Olson to be in the finals. Didn't happen. They both got knocked out first round. Um, P. Alonso in the first round was batting first. He was 5th seed. He put up 35 home runs. You're telling me that is 35 home
Crazy.
runs. That is the most home runs in a first round than any other player in home derby. And most surprising was Trey Mancini. Trey Mancini, the first 30 seconds, I'd say, of his attempt to make the next round, he was doing so bad, and then he called a timeout. He regrouped with with pitching coach and everything, and he was hitting bombs. He ended the round, I'm pretty sure, with 24 after hitting like one the first 30 seconds to a minute. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, we both picked Shohei to come out the first round, and I want to say that matchup with him and Juan Soto, it didn't disappoint for sure. Shohei came back at first, tied it, then they went to bonus time, tied it again, then they went to a swing off, and by that point, there's not much you can do. Both guys were tired, but Soto hit 3 home runs, and Ohtani hit one straight back ground ball to the pitcher, on one of his swings. Um, and I was out yesterday. I was out during that time of the home run derby. I was at work, and on the TVs there, the home run derby's on, and there's a bunch of kids booing and cheering against Shohei anytime he hit a line drive. I just want to say, how in the world can you cheer against Shohei Ohtani? Something's definitely wrong with you, and you should like rethink life. Um, but the other guys, obviously, Pete Alonso did absolutely spectacular. 35 home runs in the first round is a record, like you said. He put on a show in each round. The final round, that was amazing as well against him and Trey Mancini. Me and Gavin both dismissed what he might be able to do. We said what a great story, comeback story, battling colon cancer last season and then coming back this year. But he really showed a lot of things. He showed, I guess it's really inspiring, what he did. He showed that if you're even in the darkest places and times you might be in your life, you can still come back and do great things. That's exactly what he did. Um, Gallo and Olsen, two lefty power bats that we thought were going to go far. They got bounced. Story advanced, and Trey Mancini advanced, and then nobody picked Salvador Perez, so there's no really surprise there in that aspect.
Well, even without Pete Alonso putting up 35 home runs, Salvador Perez still put up 27. That is still amazing. If Pete Alonso wasn't Pete Alonso, maybe Salvador Perez would have won it. But Pete Alonso is so good at life that he won it. But Pete Alonso, he was trying to aim for that scoreboard the whole entire time. Just came up short. Longest was, like I said, 514 feet, but the longest in total, like everybody there, 518 feet. And guess who it was? Trevor Story. The man who, plays for the Rockies. He's used to that stadium. He knows where to hit it. Like I said, I picked him to advance to the second round. He did, but lost to Trey Mancini. Everybody was surprised by Trey Mancini doing what he did, making it to the finals, but it wasn't enough for Pete Alonso taking home the chain, the trophy, like he did last year.
The chain was funny. That was funny. It's an exact copy of the Padres home run chain. Wow.
Yeah,
that was silly.
The Padres. I'm a Dodgers fan. The Padres are like, we got the ice, but we have the real ice. We have the real ice. You guys might have the necklace, the chain, whatever you want to call it, but we have the real ice. The ring for winning the World Series. But next up, AllStar Game. They released their lineups for what do we think about who was going to win A or the NL. They put up their lineups, and I am so happy. So happy. Max Muncy is a starter. He is a starter after being snubbed by stupid Freddie Freeman fans. Not a first baseman, but he's a DH. It was so annoying. The whole entire All-Star voting time, Max Muncy was in first place by a mile. And then, the last week, I'd say, Freddie Freeman just jumped up out of nowhere. And I was like, bro, are you kidding me? This is really going to happen? But I'm so excited, Max Muncy's finally a starter.
Yeah, well deserved. Seriously, I didn't think there was a DH for the NL side. Because, in voting, there's no DH spot. I thought the pitcher were going to have to hit, which would be horrible in the All-Star game. But luckily, Max Muncy, well deserved, gets to start tonight, as he should anyways. Batting second. Tatis is leading off for the NL, and I don't want to sound like some Shohei Ohtani fanboy. I mean, I am, but Shohei Ohtani is doing some crazy, amazing things tonight. He's batting leadoff in the All-Star game, so he's going to be the first at bat of the night. He's playing designated hitter, but he's also the starting pitcher for tonight's All-Star game. So, they allowed the rule to be bended for tonight. So Ohtani will most likely go one inning like every other pitcher will for the most part. And then he will probably hit an inning or two, get an at-bat or two, which will be really fun to see. Hopefully he's not gassed from last night. But the other guys in the lineup, Cedric Mullins became a starter for Trout. I like that. And yeah, I think we should pick a dark. Who is your pick for All-Star Game MVP?
For MVP, I mean, it has to be Shohei, really.
Yeah, I mean, if he hits a home run and let's say he strikes out like two guys.
Even if he strikes out two guys, obviously that's an obvious choice.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it all depends on how everybody else does. Because usually it's a lot of runs scored in these games because it's the best of the best. But I pick Shohei, really Shohei.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because any of these guys can do it. Even a guy off the bench can do it. I want to
Yeah.
pick Shohei. I want Shohei to win it. I'm not gonna choose him here though because I don't want to be wrong again. I mean, either way, I'm probably gonna be wrong. I am gonna go. I'm gonna pick Jesse Winker.
That's interesting.
Random dark horse pick. He hits home runs. So I think if he hits a dinger, and maybe another base hit or something, a double RBI double, I think he could. I think he's gonna win the MVP. But that's really tough to pick who's gonna win All-Star Game MVP.
I thought you were gonna pick Shohei just because you love Shohei. If you guys are listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, whatever, if you're not seeing the video, Connor is wearing an Angels jersey, an Angels hat. So yeah, he's pretty much an Angels fan, and he loves Shohei so much.
Yeah, I just don't have any Shohei gear yet, which kind of
Yeah,
sucks.
he's really wearing an Andrelton Simmons jersey. And he's not even on the Angels anymore.
Yeah.
But we're gonna move on from the All Star game stuff. The MLB draft, we're just gonna go over the top 10 picks. The MLB draft was 2 days ago, I believe.
Yeah.
And let me tell you that the first pick in the draft was so surprising. Nobody was expecting that. But so the number one pick in the draft was a catcher from Louisville by the Pirates, Henry Davis. That was surprising, really. I thought it was either going to be like Jack Leiter or Marcelo Meyer,
Yeah.
but I mean they have a catcher like Jacob Stallings, but it was most surprising for me.
Yeah, I mean, all the mock drafts, every MLB mock draft had Marcelo Meyer, a shortstop from California, going number one. Um, but Henry Davis, the best college hitter, best college catcher in the nation. I guess it's a good pick for the Pirates. Maybe he can be like their future catcher, future stud hitter. Um, let's go over the rest of the top 10. Jack Leiter to the Rangers at number two. I really like that
Jackson
pick.
Job for
Jackson
the
Jobe to the Tigers.
right-hander pitcher for the Tigers. Marcelo Meyer, uh, projected number one overall pick, shortstop to the Red Sox. That is a steal right there.
Bro.
Colton Cowser, an outfielder picked up by the Orioles. Jordan Lawler, shortstop for the Diamondbacks. Me and Connor were looking at this guy a couple months ago. See the birds. He was actually really good out of high school. He's picked up number 6 by the Diamondbacks. You can say that name right there if you want
I
to.
think it's Frank Mazzucato. He got drafted by the Royals at number 7. Benny Montgomery went 8 to the Rockies. The
I would let you
Angels,
say this. I'll let you say this one. It's really sad.
they took Kumar Rocker. Just kidding. I will freaking wish um, the Angels passed on Kumar Rocker, the pitcher from Vanderbilt, who's regarded as like one of the top 3 pitchers in the nation. They drafted Sam Bachman from Miami University in Ohio. And then the Mets got a steal. Number 10, they took Kumar Rocker. Really wish the Angels took him.
Bro,
But
how are you going to name a college Miami University when it's in Ohio?
dude, that's always like tripped me out. I ain't gonna lie. Some things I want to touch on. Obviously, the Jack Leiter number 2. I find that pick interesting. I think Jack Leiter is really MLB ready. I think he could spend a year and a half maybe in the minor leagues and come up. And the Rangers are a few years away from being a competitive team. I would have liked a team like the Tigers to pick him because the Tigers pitching staff is really good and young. But Jackson Jobe, their high school pitcher, he's going to take a long time to develop, maybe like 3, 4 years in the minors, unless he's really good. Um, Marcelo Meyer, what a steal that is for the Red Sox. You know, amazing steal. The Orioles last few years have taken guys that like no one's projected. They definitely I guess overslotted, which is good because it saves them money. Lawler, like Gavin said, we looked at this guy a few months ago and saw how amazing he is at baseball. He goes to the Diamondbacks at number 6. That's a steal. These next two guys, I don't know anything about them. And then these last two picks, 9 and 10. Throughout the whole draft, I'm not even gonna lie. I was watching it. I was like, the Angels, Kumar Rocker might be there. Kumar Rocker might be there. He was there. We didn't take him. He cost the Mets $6 million in a signing bonus, which is a lot of money. So maybe that's why the Angels passed on him. But the guy the Angels drafted, he can throw 100 miles an hour. He's got a pretty decent slider and other pitches. And then obviously the Mets, biggest steal of the draft, in my opinion, got Kumar Rocker at number 10. And that's the top 10 picks in the first round of the draft.
Another thing in the draft, it's pretty funny. It's really funny. So there's a guy that the A's picked up. His name was Max Muncy. Max Muncy is also on the Dodgers, and Max Muncy on the Dodgers is pretty sure it's like August 25th or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
And then the Max Muncy that the A's picked is also born August 25th or something like that, whatever. They're born on the same day. And Max Muncy on the Dodgers was also drafted by the A's. That is the most
That's crazy.
coincidental thing ever. They're both the same name, both born on the same day, and both were drafted by the same team.
Dude, that is some next level stuff, dude. That is such a coincidence. It's so freaking sick that happened. That's just so cool.
But moving on, new MLB rules that have been recent, and Rob Manfred, I'm pretty sure they're dropped. These rules are dropped by the MLB in 2022. The 7-inning doubleheader rule, and the extra innings rule. If you guys don't know, if you get like rain delayed or whatever, you'll play the next game before the other game starts, and you'll play 7 innings. And then the extra innings rule. If you go into extra innings, a runner will be at second base to make the game faster.
The one rule I don't like here is the extra inning one. The problem with that rule, at first when it came in, like last season I think it was, I was like, I don't really see a problem with it. But the problem with the rule is, there's a runner on second base to start the inning, and really all you have to do, you can just bunt. First guy can just bunt. Boom, you got a runner at third. Next thing you need to do is just, yeah, all you have to do is just move the runner to third. Boom, runner scores most likely. Then you're up. The 7-inning doubleheader one, I kind of actually like that one. Doubleheaders, that's 18 innings of baseball in one day. That's a lot on every single guy, position players, pitchers. But I mean, if they just go back to the 9-inning doubleheader, I won't mind. I mean, these rules, they kind of suck, but they are what they are, and hopefully they do get revoked next season.
So this was a while ago. The Dodgers and Diamondbacks played a quick little series, quick little 3-game series. The Dodgers lost game 1. The Dodgers lost game 1, and then they came back, scored 22 runs, 22-1, and then the next game, Max Muncy walked it off to end the first half of the season for the Dodgers. That was the most craziest thing. AJ Pollock was the player of the week for the Dodgers. He put up 2 home runs that game, and so did Big Albert. Albert Pujols put up 2 home runs. So that is crazy right there, putting 22 home runs and then walking it off the next day.
Yeah, I remember, like, I was over at your house during that game. We weren't watching the game, but you'd get the notifications, and it'd be like 14-0 or something like that, or 14-1, and then like 16, 18, 20. And by the time I got home, you were like, dude, it is 20. What was it? The final score is 22-1.
Yeah.
22-1 Dodgers. Pujols hit 2 dingers, and Mookie Betts hit a grand slam, and I was like, dude.
Justin Turner also hit a grand slam.
Justin Turner hit a grand slam. I mean, beating up on the Diamondbacks, that seems pretty easy, especially when your team is like one of the best teams in baseball. I know the Diamondbacks tweeted after, they were like, "We know about last night's game," or something like that. They were basically saying, "Don't talk about this absolute destruction of a loss that we just had. Just move on." But dude, the Dodgers, that game was freaking crazy. Imagine being there, bro.
Yeah, my nana was at that game. Not even joking. She was at that game for her anniversary,
Wow.
and I texted her during the game. I was like, "You are the Dodgers' good luck charm. You are. That is so crazy. That's the best like anniversary gift ever. Like going to the Dodger game and then the Dodgers scoring 22 runs and winning it.
Crazy stuff.
But yeah, that was Justin Turner's first career Grand Slam.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I actually didn't know that. But moving on, me and Connor are going to talk about our top five surprising players of the MLB since it's the end of the first half of the season. So I'll start off with my number five. My number five, he's a rookie. I actually got Akil Baddoo. The most surprising thing about Akil Baddoo is that he, before this season, didn't play anything higher than single A. That
Wow.
means he didn't play double A, he didn't play triple A. He was a Rule 5 draft pick by the Detroit Tigers. First pitch he ever saw was a home run. He's
Storybook.
really good versus righties, trash versus lefties. But he was up there for rookie of the year conversations, but kind of fell off. But yeah, Akil Baddoo is my number five for most surprising players.
My number five surprising player is Joe Musgrove of the
Padres.
Padres, formerly of the Pirates. Um, Obviously he threw one of the 6 no hitters this season.
Pretty sure it's the
Um,
first one.
he was the first no hitter of the season, first hitter no hitter in Padres history. He
Hmm.
also has the lowest ERA of his career, 2.93 with 116 strikeouts. He's playing. One of the best pitcher. He's the best pitcher statistic wise, next to you, Darvish on the Padres. He's one of the 3 they acquired this offseason. So he's my number 5.
Moving on to my number four. I actually have one of the Dodgers rivals, Brandon Crawford of the San Francisco Giants. He has been on a tear this season for the Giants. Um, Brandon Crawford, I never really liked him because he is a Giant. It feels like youth has, he found the fountain of youth, and was like, boom, I'm so good now. I'm gonna make the AllStar game, and he did.
Well, that's kind of funny. He's also my number 4. Like you said, I mean, he throughout his time, when the Giants World Series runs, he was really good, an All-Star 2 times before this season. Now he's an All-Star this year. 18 home runs, 921 OPS. I mean, he has found, like you said, the fountain of youth and playing like Brandon Crawford of years past.
Um, yeah, that's pretty much everything. My number three is also an All-Star, Chris Taylor of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Um, everybody plays good on their contract year because they want the bag. Chris Taylor is an All-Star this year. Has been so good with the Dodgers. When the Dodgers were on that really, really bad losing streak, he was the only one who was good. He was putting up home runs. He was driving in the runs. He was getting base hits. Um, yeah, but Chris Taylor, All-Star, first-time All-Star. Hopefully we re-sign him after this year. But he is my number three.
My number 3 is the ace, I guess you would say, of the Texas Rangers pitching staff, Kyle
Oh, yeah.
Gibson. He has the 3rd lowest ERA in the American League at a 2.29. He only has 88 strikeouts, which compared to some other guys is pretty low amongst the top guys. But an All-Star this season, very surprising. This dude's been just an average pitcher, but in Texas this year, he's really found his groove in his pitching, like an All-Star.
That's funny because my number two is also Kyle Gibson of the Texas Rangers. I mean, you pretty much said it all. He has about the third lowest ERA, and he's found his place there in Texas. It's pretty much crazy, that all these. I mean, he's been really good this year. He's an All Star, very well deserved. But yeah, my number two is Kyle Gibson.
My number 2 He might still be in MVP talks. I know he was a few weeks ago, but I got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. All-Star this season, 28 bombs. Also, I'm pretty sure he leads the league in batting average and RBIs and on base percentage and OPS. That's a lot of
That is
categories
crazy.
to lead the league in. I know if he had more home runs, if he had more home runs, he would be in the race for Triple Crown, which hasn't happened in the AL since Miguel Cabrera. But yeah, man, like I know the first 2 years of his career, there was a lot of hype around him. He played good, wasn't as um ex he wasn't up to the expectations that people had, but this year he's exceeding those expectations. MVP candidate, All Star. He's my number two.
My number one is a pitcher for the New York Mets. Not Jacob deGrom. It's actually Taijuan Walker.
Mm,
I'm pretty sure he said he's on your fantasy team or something like that.
yeah.
But he has been so good with the Mets. I'm pretty sure the Mets, out of all the teams in the MLB, the Mets are the only team that offered him a contract, and he worked his way up to be the number two spot in the rotation. And that says something when you got a guy like Marcus Stroman back there too, and he's really been really good for the New York Mets.
My number one is another Texas Ranger. He's a rookie, Adolis Garcia, also an All Star. Um, he's barely played before in his MLB career. He has 22 bombs this year, batting 270, 62 runs batted, and 8 stolen bases as well. You know, I mean, he came from the Cardinals. They got him somehow, some way, and he just said, "All right, well, it's time to show people what I can do," and he has absolutely done that. He's an All-Star this year, one of the highlights of the Texas Rangers team this season. And surprisingly, I just realized this: he's 28 years old. He seems a lot younger.
Yeah, I had no clue he had 28 home runs. That is actually crazy.
Yeah.
But very well deserved All Star. Moving on to the NFL. The Rams have released their, I guess, I want to say throwback jerseys, but they call it throwback jerseys. They released their throwback jerseys, and they pretty much look the same as their like I don't even know home or away jerseys, alternate jerseys, whatever you want to say. They look the same, but I mean, I guess they could be a throwback. I don't know.
I know that the Rams last year when they announced their new uniforms, they said that there's going to be a new uniform this season and next season. Um, I, I this white uniform that they call a throwback with a modern look looks like their bone uniform, just colored white, which is what they should have done anyways. I actually kind of like it. I dig it, but I mean, it's not much special. I think for like an alternate uniform, it'd be cool if they like did like a yellow jersey or a black jersey or even a legit throwback uniform that's a actual throwback. Um, but yeah, I don't mind them. They're not bad, but I'd say they're actually pretty good, in my opinion.
Um, the Washington football team going over uh their team name because they're called the Washington football team, and no team in football wants to be called the football team. That is pretty
Yeah.
sad. They were once called the Redskins. People got offended by that name, but I don't really know anything about that. I don't know what they would change their name to. They said not the Warriors, which was a uh, big name. I'm pretty sure they had a lot of names, but a guy trademarked the names, and they don't want to. I don't think I'm pretty sure they don't want to pay him. So I don't really know what they would pick for the name.
What I do know is that like the team president, that's like the seventh time that thing has made that sound, unless that was my computer. I don't know. But the team
It's
president
fine.
said the team colors, no matter what, are going to remain red and yellow. You can't even see it. They're going to remain the same colors. But they said not the Warriors. I'm interested to see. I've heard like Red Tails or Red Wolves or something, and I don't. Whatever the team name is, nobody's gonna like it at first. Everybody's gonna hate it, and then over time it'll definitely grow on them. but I think anything is better than the football team.
Yes, anything in the world is better than the football team. But we're going to be moving on to our top 10 tight ends, and then to top it off, we'll do a top 10 defensive, or I'd say just pass rushers in general, top 10 pass rushers. So first off, top 10 tight ends. Since I did started off the top 5 surprising players, I'll let you do top 10. I'll let you start off.
All right, my number 10 is a Philadelphia Eagle. I got Dallas Goedert. That's his name, right? Dallas. That's his first name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't write down his first name, so I just had to make sure I was right. Dallas Goedert of the Eagles. He had a solid season last season on a really bad Eagles team, but he has potential. I think he's definitely an older guy. He's not super old, but he's in like his mid-20s. Gonna be the next era of Zach Ertz. So
Yes.
that's my number 10 guy.
My number 10 is actually Noah Fant of the Denver Broncos. You said the same thing for Dallas Goedert. He was really good for a really bad Broncos team. Very young. He has been a recent draft pick for the Broncos. But yeah, he's my number 10 spot right there.
And he's also my number 9. Like you said, he's a good young tight end who played on a bad team. 3 T's last year, 600 yards. He hopefully with some good quarterback play, he can get more to him. The Broncos got tons of weapons, but he's a good blocker as well and a great receiver. He's my number 9.
My number 9 is he recently got picked up last year. I think last year he got picked up by the Browns. Is Austin Hooper. He was really good for the Eagles, but he pretty much stepped down a little bit for the Browns. Or not Eagles, Falcons. He was really good for the Falcons, but the Browns pick. He was a really good pickup by the Browns, so he's my number 9.
My number 8 is a guy who came out of retirement last season after taking the year off from the Patriots. I got Rob Gronkowski. Last season on a Super Bowl winning team, he played all 16 games after taking a year off. He had 600 yards and caught 7 TDs. So, I mean, Rob Gronkowski is one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game of football. And he just had another Rob Gronkowski season after taking a year off at age 31.
Dang, he's only 31.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. My number 8 is a recent pickup for Gronkowski's former team. Is Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry got picked up by the New England Patriots recently, or this offseason. He was really good with the Chargers, and he got his, I'd say, bag with the Patriots. They got another pickup with Giannis Smith back there, so they can run a duo tight end set. But my number 8 is Hunter Henry.
My number 7 is also Hunter Henry. With when he was healthy and on the field for the Chargers, he was good. Obviously, health is a big issue. He hasn't been able to stay on the field a lot, but when he is, he's really good. Kind of bag with the Patriots, along with Jonnu Smith, trying to have another Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez tight end duo. But yeah, I really like Hunter Henry. He's my number 7.
My number 7 is your number 8. It's one of the greatest tight end to ever do it. Rob Gronkowski. Like you said, after retiring and coming back, he played fairly decent. Not even decent. He played great. Had 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Really amazing that duo with him and Tom Brady will never be matched. And it's just crazy. I thought he was way older than 31.
Dang.
31 is a pretty young age. But yeah, this is my number 7. Our number 8 and 7 are swapped.
My number 6 is a member of the Miami Dolphins. I got Mike Gesicki. Yeah. He's a great tight end, not wide receiver. a target for Tua, and last season also for Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, he's obviously gonna improve. He's still a young tight end with a lot of potential, and he's gonna grow hopefully with Tua and the rest of the guys on that Miami Dolphins offense.
My number 6 is a member of the Detroit Lions, TJ Hockenson. Um, I think you said him and Mike Gesicki were both in the same draft class and both on the same college team. Pretty crazy. And they both turned out to be really good studs for their teams. TJ Hockenson is a real good tight end for the Detroit Lions. I think if Jared Goff can use him good, he will get some more pass attempts. He's a very good blocker too, I'd say.
TJ Hawkinson's my number 5. A lot of flip flops for us. Um, he was a Pro Bowler last season, his first ever Pro Bowl, 700 yards and 6 TDs, played all 16 games. You know, he's going to be one of the few pieces to build around for this Detroit Lions team. Hopefully, Jared Goff can make him look good and not damage him in any way.
My number 5, you guessed it, is Mike Gesicki. A lot of flops. But yeah, he's a very young tight end. Miami Dolphins. Hopefully, Tua or if we're going to be back there at quarterback and use him good. He has real good hands. He knows how to get it off the line good. He's a really good blocker. My number 5 is Mike Gesicki.
My number 4 is one of Lamar Jackson's top targets, one of the tight end duos that he has there. I got Mark Andrews. Man, he's a one-time Pro Bowler. He's great at catching the football, 700 yards, 7 TDs. He only played 14 games last year, so I feel like he can definitely statistically have improved in 2 games, and he's my number 4.
My number 4 is also Mark Andrews. He was good in 2020. He was good in 2020. He was, I wouldn't say better in 2021, but he was really good in 2021. He has the former MVP at quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Very good target for him. Instead of get off the line, he's a very reliable tight end to go to. You can just be like, oh, who am I gonna throw to? Oh, I'll throw it up to Mark Andrews. So my number 4 is Mark Andrews.
My number 3 is one of the most underrated players in the game of football, plays for the Las Vegas Raiders, Darren Waller. He had 9 touchdowns. He had 1,196 yards last season. One of the top targets, most likely the top target passing wise for Derek Carr in the Raiders offense. He is so underrated. Earlier on in his career, I saw a documentary. He was battling like drugs and didn't have the passion to play football, but came to the Raiders and has became a Pro Bowler, one-time Pro Bowler, racked up amazing statistics last season and very underrated player.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Darren Waller is top 10 material. Just kidding. He's also my number 3. Darren Waller is a beast. He's a very tall and lengthy tight end, to throw it up to him and be like, oh, boom, I caught that. It's mine now. He's Derek Carr. He's also a very underrated quarterback, I'd say. Um, him and Darren Waller are a very dynamic duo for that Raiders offense. So he's my number 3.
I feel like our top 4 is exactly the same, and I was thinking not too long ago, like a few seconds ago, do I swap my number 1 and number 2? Well, I'm not going to do that for the sake of making things different. My number 2 is George Kittle. I know there's always a debate about Kelsey and Kittle at the top. Last season, he battled some injuries, only played 8 games, had 2 touchdowns, but he's a 2-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, which is one of the highest honors in the league. He's made it to the Super Bowl. He played good in that Super Bowl. A great blocker, great pass catcher, and one of the targets for not only Jimmy G, but going to be one of the future targets for hopefully Trey Lance.
Um, My number two is Travis Juskin and George Kittle also. George Kittle is a very good locker room guy. He's very like funny off the field. Um, he's one of the best. It was really hard to choose between him and Travis Kelce. Um, he is a very good target for Jimmy G or even Trey Lance, or even what's his name, that Mullins guy when Jimmy G was
Nick
injured.
Mullen.
Nick Mullins, the GOAT. But George Kittle, like you said, he played really good in the Super Bowl. He played really good 2020 before the season because he got injured this season. But 2020, he was one of the best players in the league. But he's my number two.
Number one for me is a future Hall of Famer, Travis Kelce, six-time Pro Bowler, three-time All-Pro, a Super Bowl champ. Last season had 1,400 yards, 11 TDs. His career numbers, 7,000 yards, 48 touchdowns. Um, that's a Hall of Famer. I didn't realize how great he was at being a tight end. Obviously, it helps past 3 seasons having Pat Mahomes. Even before that, having um, uh, Alex Smith as your quarterback, but a great blocker, one of the best pass catchers in the game, regardless of tight end or wide receiver, and number one for me.
My number one is Hayden Hurst. Just kidding. It's Travis Kelce. He pretty much had everything. He's a six-time Pro Bowler. I'm pretty sure to make the Hall of Fame, you need a Pro Bowl. You need a Pro Bowl selection. Um, he's really good. He was good with Alex Smith. He's even better with Patrick Mahomes. Ever since Patrick Mahomes has been that guy, I feel like Travis Kelce has been more and more relevant towards the game of football. Um, if Tony Gonzalez wasn't so good, I'd probably put him as the best tight end for the Chiefs, or even best tight end ever. But yeah, he's my number one right there.
Yeah, so let's move on to our other top 10 today. We have the top 10 pass rushers. So we combined um, the defensive line positions, I guess. We were thinking about edge rushers and defensive defensive ends and stuff like that. But we just decided anybody that rushes the quarterback on a consistent basis, who's a pass rusher, we put in this list. It was a very hard list to make for me, probably for you as well, Gavin. A lot of guys, in my opinion, got snubbed in my list. So you can start it off.
My number 10 is a member of my Dallas Cowboys, DeMarcus Lawrence. He was good in 2020, or yeah, he was good in one of the years, and then got the bag, and was like, I don't know, I don't think he deserves the bag really that much. Um, but he's a really good pass rusher. Um, he gets off the blocks really quickly and pressures the quarterback. Um, I, he's my number 10.
My number 10 is a Green Bay Packer. I got Zadarius Smith. He racked up 12 and a half sacks last season. A part of that Packers defense, one of the best players on the Packers defense. Um, only his second year in Green Bay after years in Baltimore where he just was not really that great. Comes to comes to Green Bay, gets on a Pro Bowl and a first team All Pro. He's my number 10.
My number 9, he wasn't playing this last year, is Von Miller of the Denver Broncos. Some stuff happened to him last year, but he was so good before. He was so good at his whole entire career. Pick number 2 in the draft, behind Cam Newton. Uh, he is a Super Bowl champion. Did he win Super Bowl MVP? Who won Super Bowl MVP?
Uh, Wait, who the heck are you even talking about?
Von Miller.
Oh, yeah, I think he did win Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, Von Miller's my number 9. Super Bowl MVP. I think Super Bowl champion. Number 2 in the draft. One of the best pass rushers in the league. Well, everybody on this list is best pass rushers in the league. But yeah, he's my number 9.
My number 9, he only played one season, his rookie season. I have Chase Young, number 2 pick in the draft last season. 7.5 sacks, but his potential is really high, and I'm not basing this solely off of potential, but skill level wise, the way he's able to get past the linemen, the moves he possesses, the strength he has is top 10 material. He is my number 9, and he's gonna probably continue throughout his career to move up these lists.
Yeah, my number 8 is former number 2 overall pick this last year, Chase Young. Chase Young he was super good coming out of the gates. You know, his rookie year last year. You know, if he can keep up what he did, you know, he can be a really good player for years to come.
My number 8, I have a member of the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have Shaquille Barrett. His second season in Tampa Bay, his first season in Tampa Bay, I might add, he was amazing. 19.5 sacks. Last season he had 8. Another great guy coming off the break. Plays right outside linebacker, but pass rusher is part of this list. He's a Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, I might add. An anchor of that amazing Buccaneers defense. He is my number 8.
My number 7 is I think he's a 2 or 3 year player going into his third year, I'm pretty sure. Nick Bosa, a brother of Joey Bosa. He was super good out of Ohio State. I think I could be wrong. I think he's number 2 in the draft.
Yeah, he
I'm
was.
not. Yeah, he was number 2 in the draft. So I have 3 number 2 picks in the draft right now in a row. But Nick Bosa, he's super good for the 49ers. Was injured last year. Hopefully this next year he can have a bounce back season and do what he did his rookie year.
My number 7, I have a new member of the Arizona Cardinals. I have J.J. Watt. He's getting older, but that does not diminish the fact that when he is healthy, he is one of the best guys at getting to the quarterback. Accolades wise, 5-time Pro Bowler and All Pro 5 times. Last season, down season 5 sacks, but overall wise, J.J. Watt throughout his career and continuing to be so with the Cardinals is one of the best pass rushers in football.
Yeah, I mean my number 6 is J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt, you can pretty much put him anywhere on offense. He plays tight end, he plays fullback, but other than that, he's a really good pass rusher. One of the best. He's really good with the Texans, and then was like, "Get me out of here." And then he went to the Cardinals. Him and Chandler Jones are going to be real good. That dynamic duo with pass rushing team is going to be super good.
My number 6 is Khalil Mack of the Chicago Bears. During his time in Oakland and even his time in Chicago, still today, he's one of the hardest guys to defend. I say this a lot every episode, but as a former pro sports athlete in basically all of the 3 major sports, it is really hard to defend Khalil Mack. I played against him on the line. But he is really hard to defend. 9 sacks last year. He's able to rack those up, get to the quarterback, has great moves, great strength, really strong guy. Number 6.
My number 5 is the brother of my number 7, and that is Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa is a pass rusher for the Los Angeles Chargers, not San Diego anymore. But Joey Bosa coming out his rookie year, super good, and he's super good to pressure the quarterback, even if he's not even off the block. The quarterback just knowing he's right there, be like, oh shoot, I think it's ball off in time because he's gonna come and get me.
My number 5, I have Nick Bosa. He only played 2 games last season. He was injured, but his rookie season, absolutely amazing. An amazing player. He didn't lead, but he was part of the help that sent the Niners to the Super Bowl. He has so much potential, just like Joey, his brother. And I think when Nick Bosa this season is healthy, he is going to be one of the top 5 pass rushers in the game of football.
My number 4, pretty sure he led the, in every like major category except for like interceptions for defensive player. Should have got defensive player of the year, but didn't. And that is T.J. Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Donald got defensive player of the year, but T.J. Watt had way better stats than last year. He was the leader of that defense, and he's one of the main reasons why the Pittsburgh Steelers are on that like 11-0 run.
Yeah. Number 4, I have the brother of my number 5. I got Joey Bosa. Throughout his career, has been one of the most feared and best pass rushers in football. I'm looking at this right now. I'm surprised he only played in San Diego 1 year, but that's besides the point. One of the best player on that Chargers defense, probably the top 2 players on the Chargers team itself. A lot of career accolades to back it up, and he's just going to continue to tear down offensive linemen.
My number 3 is Khalil Mack of the Chicago Bears. He got traded to the Chicago Bears from the Raiders. Very surprising move, but a very good one by the Bears. The Khalil Mack has been a feared pass rusher his whole entire career, basically, and it's really fun to watch him play.
My number 3, I have Myles Garrett of the Browns. 12 sacks last year, 10 sacks year before, 13 and a half in 2018. Former number 1 overall pick. He obviously, can do things on his own, but he can also do things with other people's helmets. He's just a tremendous football player. Great at getting to the quarterback. Number 3 for me.
My number 2 is your number 3. Myles Garrett is my number 2. Like you said, he's really good at throwing helmets at people. He is a very good pass rusher. He's been super good coming into the league after being drafted number 1 by the Browns. He's super duper good he's gonna be super duper good for years to come for this Browns defense, for this exciting Browns defense.
My number 2 is a guy that I think was your number 3, the dude who should have won Defensive Player of the Year. The league leader in sacks last year. We have T.J. Watt. He was absolutely amazing. The leader of that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Like you said, part of the reason they went on the 11-0 winning streak to start the season. He's going to be great for so many years to come. He's only played 4 years in the NFL, so he has so many years ahead of him to just continue to be great.
My number 1, no surprise, I've actually seen him play before, and that is Aaron Donald. He is a beast coming off the line. One of the best pass rushers, or the best pass rusher in the league for me. He won Defensive Player of the Year last year. T.J. Watt deserved that, but other than that, he won it, and he's like a three-time Defensive Player of the Year. I'm pretty sure. I've seen him play live, and it's really cool seeing him play. I've seen him sack the quarterback a couple times, and it's amazing. It's so amazing.
Yeah, he's also my number 1. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro. He was a member of the All 2010s team. He led the league in 2018 with 20.5 sacks, had 13.5 last year. The best defensive player in football. Some may argue the best player in football. Part of the number 1 defense. He is the leader of that defense. He is one of the most feared players to go against in football. And Aaron Donald is my number 1 pass rusher in NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I actually seen him like live. I'm not even joking when I said that. I've seen him live, and it is amazing seeing him play. But we're gonna move on to our last thing.
Yeah.
And that is UFC 260. Was it 264?
Yes.
UFC 264. What happened Sunday, I think, or no, Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
And it, me and Connor predicted this on our last episode. We predicted Dustin Poirier, uh, you know, winning it, and he did. But I didn't realize that there was like 5 rounds, and I picked a judge's decision or whatever. Connor picked a knockout, second round. Didn't happen, and actually, um, Conor McGregor lost by doctor's stoppage. Nasty ankle injury. It was so nasty to
Ugh.
watch. Me and Connor were both um, he was at my house watching it. It was nasty. It was nasty.
Dude, like at first when he fell down, I don't think either of us noticed what happened to his ankle. It wasn't until they showed the replay where we were like, dude, your ankle just went like this. We'll put a picture up on the screen for those of you. Viewer discretion is advised. We'll show it
It's not
right
to
now.
say that, bro.
It's very graphic. It's crazy. Um, but dude, I mean, besides that, a lot of people were saying that Poirier really already won the fight. I think he won the fight. It was
Most
clear from that
definitely.
first round. Unless McGregor found a way to knock out Poirier in the next 4 rounds after that first one, uh, Dustin had it in the bag. It's unfortunate that a doctor stoppage had to happen because a lot of people feel that the win wasn't satisfying, that they should do it again. And there was a lot of smack talked after, man. A lot of smack.
Yeah, Poirier was like, oh, his ankle broke because I kicked him or whatever. Like, no, that's not what happened. He was trying to go back and his ankle snapped. It was nasty.
Yeah.
Like, we saw him fall and like we were like, oh damn, he just fell. But it was so weird because like he didn't touch him. And then we saw the replay, or like he was like after the round was over, he was saying there, he was like, my ankle snapped. Like you can read his lips. He's like, my ankle snapped or whatever he said, and we were like, bro, what? And then we saw the replay, and it was so gross. Like it was
Seriously,
so
bro.
gross. And like he was even sitting there with his ankle like snapped out of place, and it was disgusting. It was disgusting.
I don't
And
know how he can just sit there. Obviously, at first he was hurting. He was like making sounds, but like afterwards, he was just sitting there, just like chilling, like nothing happened. Like I would be bawling my eyes out if that happened to me.
bro, I don't like Ghost and Player anymore because of uh, when he's like, oh, dude, I can I not speak? What the heck was that? He was like, I kicked his leg out of place. No, and even after he won, he did a McGregor strut. Are you kidding me?
The
No,
Trevor Bauer strut.
yeah, I was about to say that. He did the Trevor Bauer strut. No, he did the McGregor strut right in front of his face, and it was so disgusting to watch. Like, he didn't even do it right. But, uh, I, I don't really understand the beef between them two. I mean, Conor McGregor beat him first time, and then Justin Poirier beat him second time, and then the third time Justin Poirier won. But
Dude,
it was disgusting. If you betted Conor McGregor or Dustin Poirier to win in round one to a doctor stoppage after him snapping his ankle out of place, you are from the future. Don't ever talk to me.
dude, it was crazy the stuff that like McGregor apparently did. Apparently he was like pointing to Poirier and his wife like this, bro, with like a gun to his head. I mean, he was saying he was gonna kill Dustin Poirier in the ring. Um, Obviously Poirier didn't like that. He was saying you don't say things like that. I agree. You don't really say you're gonna kill someone in the ring. That's like really far. But um, and then this was really savage. McGregor said that Poirier's wife is in his DMs. That was something else, man. That was next level trash talk. I think that's acceptable. But obviously not a gun to the head. Um, but yeah, this was a crazy, crazy fight. Obviously the one before this that we watched, I don't remember the names of the two dudes, but you said that was the most boring fight you ever watched. I agree. That's like up there. Those two guys were just wrestling. This fight was
Pretty
good.
sure that other dude was like his name was like Wonder Boy or something like that.
Yeah, Wonder Boy versus the dude from Brazil. That fight was boring. Then we saw girls fight even before that. That
We
was
saw
freaking.
Greg Hardy get knocked out.
Oh, dude, how could we forget about that? That's gonna be the title of the video. Greg Hardy KO'd.
But honestly, I had no clue that Greg Hardy was even like fighting. And then they said
Seriously.
it's like his 3-year anniversary of fighting, and I was like, what the heck? I had no clue.
Dude, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say it, but that comment that you read to me at the end, right as I was walking out the door, Greg Hardy. This
Dude,
is how.
somebody in the comments and one of the posts said Greg is like Greg Hardy, like after getting like knocked out, he knows how his wife felt. It was so like
Dude,
if you
that
don't
was
know what happened to Greg Hardy, you should know. But it was so funny.
that was a crazy night. Just like looking back on it, all the fights we watched, the girls fighting. That one girl, bro, her face was so bloody. It was
Bro, yeah.
crazy. But dude, yeah, the whole UFC 264, even though the main fight, didn't end we wanted it to. Just looking back on it, that was a crazy fight to watch. A lot of guys, people we didn't freaking expect to be fighters, and boring fights, great fights all around. Um, but yeah, that's
No,
everything.
no, 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 no.
No, it's not. It's not.
I don't know how we forgot this. The dude on the Braves tore his ACL.
Oh my God.
We forgot to put that in, but we should talk
Well,
about it.
we can talk about this on Broken Bats, or I can or something.
Bro,
Unless you. Okay, fine. We'll say it right now. Uh, Ronald Acuna Jr., a member of the Atlanta Braves, All-Star, one of the best players in the league. He tore his ACL.
that is so sad. Because me and Connor were both watching the game or watching the fight, and I got an ESPN notification, and I showed it to him, and we were like, "Damn, that is so like unfortunate." Because like he didn't miss this season, possibly some of the next season.
It
It's
sucks.
nothing you want to see.
He's one of the reasons why people will tune in and watch baseball because of how good and electric and great he is, and he's not going to be playing for the next year maybe. The rest of this season, maybe half of next season. It's really going to suck to not see him play.
It's the most unfortunate thing to happen for the Braves.
Yeah, well, I think we have officially covered everything. Um, I did quickly mention right before we talked about this. We are planning. So just a quick for you guys that don't know, Sideline Sports, which we have Know the Game on. We plan on having other types of podcasts, I guess. One of them, a baseball podcast. Right now, I don't know if anyone else is going to be joining me, but right now it's going to be called Broken Bats. That will be definitely coming out most likely this week. And we don't have anything else confirmed, any other shows, podcasts, but we're definitely going to expand and do a lot of content. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Know the Game, episode number 4. Thank you, as always, for tuning in, sharing with on your social medias. We really, truly appreciate it. It's a lot of work to do these. Obviously, it takes like an hour to record these and then a few hours to edit them. But thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Know the Game. And there's nothing there. And we will see you guys later.